So help me bring her up, Miss Morgan
Barbour.
Barbour.
All right, guys, we're gonna make this super informal. Thank you for letting me sitting down today. So just like Chris just said, I know from the moment that I walked in the door that I wanted to be able to impact people the way that this company has impacted me and the way that the people in this company have impacted me. And so recruiting has always been like at the top of my list. I remember going into this summer talking to Trey Harris about exactly what I was looking towards doing, and I'm like, listen, I'm excited about all these other things, but like number one, I want to be like the number one recruiter in the area. So I'll talk to you about a couple things. So as far as why is recruiting important, obviously this is something that's going to benefit you forever. So in any business, you want to attract the right people, and that's like even in your own personal life, thinking of your life as a business, and then if you're interested in like running your own business in the future. So being able to recruit talent in every part of your life, as far as like a future spouse. Obviously, you want to find somebody and attract the right type of person. You want to be able to sell them on why you're so fantastic. And being able to, like I said, if you are interested in running your own personal business, being able to recruit the right type of employees. You want hardworking people that are dedicated to you and dedicated to your company. As far as sports, Trey's going to make me mention it, but Clemson, Alabama, Michigan, they're really good as far as recruiting, and that's why they do so well every year. Even just group projects. I know pretty much everybody here is a student, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So group projects, you don't go into a group project and pick the bottom people in your class. You want to pick the top people. You want to pick the people that are going to help you be so successful in that project so you can get a good grade. And if you're spiritual, churches, actually a statistic I just found out is that 32% of churches actually close in the first 4 years. And that's because they aren't able to get the right type of people in the door that are going to tithe. And without tithes, the church can't continue, so the business fails as a whole. And then, is anybody here in a fraternity or in a sorority? No? Okay, we'll move on. So, you'll hear a lot about RITA, this upcoming TLA group. So RITA stands for Recruiting is the Answer, and Rita is the hottest chick we know.
Hottest chick is Meredith and Rita. You know what I'm saying? And what's her Spanish sister's name?
Spanish sister is Prita.
Oh.
Personal recruiting is the answer.
Rita.
So let me... Can I get a raise of hands in here? Who is a PR? Yeah? All right, cool. So probably about half of the room, yeah. So your friends told you about the job. And, I mean, we're the A players in here. We're the top dogs over the course of the entire summer. So, obviously, your friends are going to be the type of people that we want to get in the door. Now, I'm going to spend a little bit of time talking to you guys about social media and how we've been able to utilize that and be as efficient as we have. That's one of my favorite things, is going through not just the Facebook program, and I know we heard about it earlier, just how important the Facebook program is, being very intentional with the people that we add, so we're not just adding anybody and everybody, like really looking into the top schools in your area, figuring out what those schools are, figuring out who are the leaders in those schools. So a lot of times, most of the times, those are going to be your big athletes, the people that are, trying to be drafted by the top schools. We want to duplicate those kind of people. So I'm going to actually show you guys how to do that.
One comment I want to make too real quick, because I didn't bring her up. But did you win the trip to Cancun?
Yes.
How did you win that?
By PRs.
Oh, okay. How'd you get them? You're not even from the state.
From Facebook.
Oh, okay. Do y'all understand? Right? So, she's from North Carolina, and she moved here like 8 months ago, and she started with this 8 months ago, and she's not even from the state. You see what I'm saying? But she won Cancun. This isn't a jab or anything. I just want to know that some of y'all, all of y'all most likely, are from here. You went to high school here, right? And half the people didn't win Cancun, right? So how can she win Cancun when she's not from here? She's from this program, and that's why she's speaking on it. You know what I mean? Hey, for branches, right? And I really am emphasizing the people who already ran an office, right? Okay, this is the number one thing is getting talent in the door, right? So she was very good at that, and that's why she's the one giving the talk. So specifically, if I've already ran an office, right, I think that sometimes, like, let's just say Taylor, for example, he sold, about $100,000 or something, and just ran a top branch. Hey, he needs to be listening to every message on how can I get value, what did I not do, how can I get better. Hey, if you can get 3 nuggets from any talk, it was a really, really, really great talk. And for the newer people, you should get like 10 or more nuggets. Does that make sense? Yes or no? Okay.
Yes.
All right, cool. All you.
So just kind of to touch on that, I remember that when, I think it was at summer kickoff that we were at, and there was a guy that gave a talk who said that he got 25 Facebook PRs in the door, like over the course of 2 campaigns, and that's really like what drove me, because he reminded me a lot of myself, just in the sense that he was new to the area. He was a little bit older, so like he wasn't going to school, and so I mean this program definitely works, and I want you guys to realize like how much of an opportunity and an advantage that you probably even have if you're from this area, or if you go to school in this area and a bunch of people. But I was able to make it happen anyways. So another type of social media that we've been doing a lot of is Instagram. And so a lot of times you'll find that, younger people really aren't using Facebook the same way. However, you should know that Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, we're having the same results from everybody. Pretty much same types of results as far as what kind of talent that we are able to get in the door. So I don't want you to put like a mental stigma on, oh, well, people don't use Facebook, because they definitely do. I 100% use Facebook for every single one of my PRs over the summer and back in the spring, late spring as well. So as far as Instagram, though, that's a great one. Kind of gives you the opportunity to get a little bit more of a personal insight into the type of people that you're dealing with. So I know this past week we've been spending a lot of efforts trying to get into Lake Highland Prep. And that's one of our top schools. It's really tough to get into. But what's really cool is, everybody, posts their really personal photos and things like that. So just by getting into like one cheerleader's page, I was able to find like almost everybody on the cheerleading team and reach out to all of them, going through finding people that are football players, looking at like who they're taking pictures with, those kind of things. Again, obviously, the top dogs are not always athletes, but a lot of the time, those are the people that are the most confident. Those are the people that do really well at the job naturally, and they're the type of people that we do want to get in here so that we can impact the rest of the school, because, if your head cheerleader is telling you, like, hey, this is a great job, check it out, you're going to be a lot more likely to check it out than if it was just, like, some kid that maybe you had, like, a random class with and you don't even remember their last name. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So not only are we able to get our RAs through social media and our social media influencers through like Instagram and things like that, but we are able to get sales reps as well. So that was one thing over the summer we were doing a lot of, is just having people that our RAs were posting to their friends, posting to their networks, letting people know about the sales rep position. And that's how we were able to get some good talent in the door as well. So that's something that I can't show you because I'd have to link it up to my phone. However, what I will do is kind of walk you guys through how to do it on, as far as like what to do for Facebook. So I'm just going to pull this up for you guys and walk you through it. All right, cool. So, all right. So the first thing that you want to do when you are doing your Facebook recruiting is you're going to look into like what are the top schools in my area. And so if you don't know what your top schools are, if you're branching or, opening up a district office, you're not familiar with your territory, that's awesome. We have this great thing called Google. And what I'm literally going to do is just look up like top schools in Destin. Maybe top high schools, just to be a little bit more specific. So we've got public schools, the best 10 middle and high schools, best high schools, All right, so maybe we'll just pick like the top one. So Fort Walton Beach High School. All right, so what we can do is going from there, there's a website called Max Preps. I don't know if anybody else in here has used Max Preps, but this was my saving grace this summer. So what this does is it lets you know what are or who are on the roster for whatever schools you're looking into. Oh, I have it for the count. All right, guys, give me one sec. What? So it'll make you create a free account. It's really quick and easy. All right. I did it, like, it just makes you, like, verify something on your email address. But what you can do is you can just look up, so what did I say, Fort Walton Beach High School. In Florida. All right. So then we go here. Once we're on their sports, so then you can see all of their sports teams. So what we're going to be looking into is our varsity players, and it'll tell you. So as an example, baseball, they typically have a lot of they do a lot of practices over the summer, and so I kind of lean away from like baseball, but let's say like lacrosse is always good. And they don't have a roster up. You can check on the left over here where it says roster. It'll let you know how many people are on the team for the upcoming year. So I'll just click on some until I get them. All right, we'll do football. Nice move. All right, so you click on the roster. It's going to tell you what grade that the students are in. So almost all of these guys are juniors and seniors. And so those are the type of people that we're looking for. And you guys know how to use Facebook, but just to over-communicate with you how simple and easy this is. So copy and paste. And I'm kind of looking for people that I think would, obviously it's a hit or a miss, but do you guys understand what I'm saying? It's literally just a copy and pasting process as far as finding those top people that are on the varsity teams in the schools that you want to be looking for, and then going from there. So I'll find one for you really quick, but just to show you like how we're, obviously duplicating them. Okay. Either way, sometimes it does take a minute to get into it, but once you do find somebody, like I can show you guys here, just by going onto my friends or like one of my friends' friends, you literally go into their friends and you go to the high school tab. And once you go to the high school tab, it's going to show you all the people that they went to high school with. And you're just looking for the type of people that you want that look like the type of people that you would want to recruit. We all know. I mean, you guys take a look at yourselves in the mirror every day. You know what you look like. You know what your friends look like. I'm just looking for people that look like strong, confident, went to the same school, from the same area. Most of the time you can tell what year they graduated. Like as an example, I think most of these people are going to be a little bit older because I'm a little bit older. But you can see, like, okay, studied technology at Appalachian State University. Like, obviously, he's not a high school student, so I'm not really looking to recruit that person that's not going to help me get into that top school. But that's how our Facebook program works. And the biggest thing with using the Facebook program, guys, is you guys need to go ahead and get good at this now. So when I've been talking to a lot of the other PSMs in our region and just talking to other assistant managers when I was at DMC, getting to talk to a lot of the people there and asking, like, what would be the number one thing that you would change if you could go back and change about your summer? They were almost every single one of them. One of their top two things that they had to say to me was, like, taking Facebook more seriously, being intentional with who they were adding, going through and getting good at it in the fall and the spring. So then in the summer, it's not something new to you. So I know I actually didn't even start adding people on Facebook until maybe the end of January. And even as successful as I was with the program, I wish that I had taken more time. I wish that I had been able to go through the whole TLA program and had somebody tell me, go ahead and start doing this. Start adding your friends. It is way easier to go ahead and get 2,000 friends and have all of them added by January rather than like that's when I started doing it. So just taking the time to go ahead and be prepared ahead of time rather than waiting until the last second when, you know, everybody's scrambling, whether you're going to, you know, whatever role that you're going to play in your office next summer, you're going to have a million other things to worry about. Go ahead and get this out of the way now, get good at it. And so that way you're going to be more successful. You can focus on the other things when you get to them then. So as far as being super prepared, another way for us to get people in the door is to use the PR approach. So about half of you guys said that you are personal recruits yourselves. And so you guys all got a handout for the PR approach. And by the way, the Andrew Belonga Facebook recruiting is just like a step-by-step of exactly what I just told you. Shows you how to send the messages out to the people. And it's really, guys, it's just copy and paste. It's super easy. There's literally like a response for every type of thing that the person could ask you when you send them the Facebook message that says, hey, you know, my job is hiring. I thought you might be interested. Let me know if you or anybody you know might be. And they say, what's the job? Okay, well, there's literally a response that you could copy and paste from there. Or if they say, how much is the pay? Where is it located? There's literally a response for everything. So it's not talent. There's nothing about talent. It is just putting in the work. So just do the time, okay? I know it's probably not the most fun thing, but the cool thing about it is since it doesn't take much mental effort, you can literally sit down in front of your TV at the end of the night and go add 200 friends on Facebook and not think about it. So that'll just walk you through the step-by-step process. As far as walking you guys through the PR approach, what I want to specifically do, I know that there's probably a good chunk of you guys that have never seen the PR approach. Am I right? Anybody in here not seen the PR approach? Okay, cool. So most of the rest of you guys have. What I'm going to do, and this is how, this is our script that we use just the same way that you have a script to talk to all of your customers and everything else in the job. We've got a script for how to get people in the door. So this is what we're talking, this is when we're talking, giving them a call, talking to them on the phone, and actually getting them to come in for an interview. And what I'm going to specifically do is talk to you guys about exactly why we say everything in the approach and, you know, kind of the reason behind it. So up in the beginning, that big box that has the traditional triple threat alley-oop interview Facebook campus survey. What you're doing there is building credibility with excitement. So the same way that when you get on the phone with Mrs. Jones and you're trying to book a demo, you want to grab her attention. You want to build the credibility in why you're calling. That's why you say like, hey, your friend so-and-so, did she mention that I was going to be calling? You're building that credibility the same way. So what I'm doing is I'll just, I think most of you guys are going to be doing the traditional triple threat, so we'll just start off with that. So this is when you guys went into training and you gave us a list of some of your friends that you thought might be good at the positions that we have available. So it's like, hey, I work with Joshua Stones. How are you doing? And they're going to say, great. Okay, yeah, did Josh let you know that I was going to be calling? No? Oh, no worries. So I'm just calling because your friend Josh just started working with us. He's doing really well, and we were looking to fill a few more spots on our team. And he actually recommended you as someone who was possibly looking for work and would be a good fit. Do you have just a quick minute? So if you don't already have this pretty much memorized, I would maybe underline where it says possibly, because that is one spot that, you know, not everybody's looking for work, but one, you know, if they're willing to take a second, so if they're willing to take a second to listen, you've got them hooked on that. So possibly looking for work and would be a good fit. Now, does it, oh, let me get you guys some highlighters actually, so that you can, does anybody have a highlighter for themselves? No? Okay, there's not enough in here. So I'll just talk to you about it then. So what you're going through is like, you know, okay, great, really quick, just to make sure, are you at least 17? You know, So the name of the company is Vector, and we've been in business since 1981. The openings that we have are in entry-level customer sales and service. So if you guys want to underline entry-level, because that's what you're emphasizing there. And the reason that we're saying that, first of all, the pauses are in there. And I don't know on your script. Let me see. So if you can put pause after where it says Vector, and then pause after where it says service, and then pause after where it says customers. And the reason that we're doing that is because we need to speak slowly. Once you get comfortable with the script, you've probably read over it at least 10 times yourself. But this is the first time that they're ever hearing it. So we need to make sure that they're hearing everything that we're saying and it's coming across crystal clear. And then the pay is $15 guaranteed, which is not based on sales or commissions. So the emphasis there is on $15 guaranteed. And you actually want to put emphasis on that when you're saying it because that's an attention grabber. Now, what you're doing in the next section where it says, so are you in school right now or currently working? Not only are you building rapport, but you want to take notes and you want to find their hot button. Why would this job be good for them? All of us came into the job for a different reason. Some people could really benefit from the scholarships. Some people could really benefit from the flexible schedules because they are an athlete or they do a lot of traveling. Some people are really, really money motivated. They've got to pay off, student loans or something like that. So that's what we're doing here. We're actually finding their hot button. As far as the school and what they're doing with school, what you're looking to do is just figure out what they want to do with their degree and figuring out if they want to make a career out of that. If they're not in school, money motivated is a big one, but you're just building rapport. The three biggest things when you are doing the PR script the three biggest things that are going to get the people in the door, one of them being building rapport with them. They don't want to feel like they just spoke to somebody who read a script to them. So you need to actually build a genuine connection with them. Figure out, why do you like them? Why would they be good here? Not just getting the PRs in the door to reach your number, whatever that may be, but why would they be good for our team? And then down at the bottom where it says, well, I wanted to let you know that we do have flexible schedules. Flexible schedules there, if you guys want to underline that, and our students can work part-time, underlining where it says part-time around their classes. And then there's a pause there. And some of the students that work with us have been able to earn college credit, and we've even had students earn scholarships based on their performance with the company. So it's just putting emphasis on those words that are really going to grab their attention, and the whole purpose of that paragraph down at the bottom is to reassure them. A lot of times, what's going on?
Do we say this if they're not a student?
Yeah, so what I have written off to the side is other commitments. So it's like, hey, just want to let you know we have super flexible schedules, and that way our representatives can take or can work part-time around their other commitments, family vacations, whatever else. And then I just leave out the part about, so it's all individualized for the person you're talking to. Most of the time we are talking to people that are students, but just reassuring them because with a really hectic class schedule, a lot of times they're from out of town and they're going to be doing a lot of traveling to and from over the holidays. They might be worried about how it's going to fit in with everything else that they have going on. But you guys have heard the talks, like doing this around school is easy, so we just want to reassure them. And that's what that whole paragraph is reassurance. So moving on to the next page. That top box where it lets them know. So if we were doing like the Facebook approach, like, hey, so Josh, since you go to Windermere and we've done really well with students from there in the past, it actually gives you priority over other applicants that we've had who've applied online. Does that make sense? What you're doing is you want to make them feel special. We don't want them to feel like we would literally just call up anybody and give the job to them. We're looking for a certain type of people. Since they were personally recommended, we wanted them to feel special there. And then the next paragraph is what we're doing to qualify them. So, well, Josh, you sound like the kind of person that our managers would want to interview because of what you told me about, your really determined work ethic, how loyal you are to your church and the things that you're passionate about. Those are the types of things that make me think that my managers would want to interview you. So specifically what qualifies them from the rapport that we just learned about them. And going towards the end of that paragraph where it says, that way you can ask any of the specific questions that you have at the time, and the manager can take a look over your application and give you more information on the positions available. What we're doing there is we're reassuring them that they're going to get more details. You guys will find a lot of the time, if you haven't already seen this, that people, when they're coming in for their interview, they're like, yeah, I don't really know what the job's about. Yeah, that's right. That's why you're here, so you can learn more about it. And that's what you want to reassure them of on the phone so that they don't get off the phone with you and think, wait, what did I just sign up for? I have no idea what I'm walking into. So giving them that reassurance there. Now the next paragraph is providing a sense of urgency. So we do have a lot of applications at the moment, and the manager is looking to fill positions right away. They're interviewing on a first come, first considered basis. So, Josh, I would really like to get you in as soon as possible. So again, just providing urgency. We want to get them in because same day efficiency, next day efficiency, getting them to come in as soon as possible is what actually gets our shows to increase. So letting them know, like, hey, this job might not be, we might not have a ton of positions available forever. That's kind of the point that you want to get across to them. And then when you're asking them, what does your schedule look like specifically for the remainder of today? You want to find start and finish times for events in their schedule. So what I say there is, hey, could you actually walk me through what the rest of your schedule looks like today? And if they say, oh, well, I've got to get my hair cut. Okay. Is that a scheduled appointment? What time is it scheduled for? Do you know how long does it normally take you? Like an hour and a half while you're there? If you have class, what time are you going to have to leave the house to be at school? What time when you leave school would you be home? You need to find out those specifics because people, will throw out random things. They'll be like, oh, I've got to get some errands done. And then you find out after talking to them, they just had to go run up to the dry cleaners to pick something up. That doesn't take all day. We can still get them in the door today. And then what you're doing where it says pause, repeat what they've told you. So, okay, so it sounds like you said you've got class from 8 a.m. to 2 p.m., and then you said that you don't have anything else going on until you have dinner with your parents at 7:30 tonight? Is that right? Just getting them to make sure that all of that sounds right so that you can go ahead and tell them, hey, I think this time would work best for you because you'd have plenty of time to leave school, get home, change clothes, eat a snack, maybe even do some homework before you would have to come in. And even with traffic, you would have plenty of time for you to make it back before you have to be at dinner with your parents. So that you just want to make it logical for them so that they don't feel overwhelmed. Now it says, it looks like the manager can meet with you, today at 4 p.m. How does that sound? Now, right before it says that, what I want you guys to jot down is, could you quickly get a piece of paper to write down some things for me? It's the same way that when you're, talking to Miss Jones on the phone, you want her to write it into her schedule. She's much less likely to forget, much less likely to bail on you. These people are going to be much more likely to come in for their interview if they have it written down, and then they get a confirmation email, and then you send them a confirmation text message. So, where it says, it looks like the manager could meet with you at this time or this time, I even say, let me look at my manager's availability. So let me look at my manager's availability. And, it looks like the manager can meet you at this time and this time. Now, depending on if you have your manager's schedule up, you actually have Vector Live up, you know who's going to be running the interview. Hey, it looks like Mr. Johnson can meet with you at 4:15. How does that sound? And then what you're doing by saying, like, how does that sound? If they give you any kind of hesitation, like, I don't really know. Like, hey, but you said you literally don't have anything else going on in the afternoon. I think that you'd have plenty of time to get home from school, plenty of time to make it before dinner. So just using the rapport that you already developed with them to reassure why that time will work. Now, after that, what you're looking to do is get their information. So you're going to jot that down, and I would say for you guys that haven't done it before, write it down on a piece of paper. It's way easier to write it down on a piece of paper and enter it into Vector Live rather than it gets confusing. The order of things on Vector Live is different than it is while you're reading the script. So just write down their information, check the spelling of the name, phone number, email address. You can put it in later. And right before it has the address, obviously everybody's address is different. I would suggest getting to know your area. I would say my lowest PR shows are when I'm setting somebody for a different office. I have no idea where the Tallahassee office is. No clue. I don't think I've had a single one of the people that I've had scheduled for Tallahassee show up because I couldn't tell them anything about what it looked like, what to expect when they're walking in the door. So know what your office address is. What are some things that are local, that are nearby? Like here we say, we're literally right down the street from Valencia East Campus. We're 3 blocks away, if you know where that is. Or saying like, oh yeah, right where Chickasaw intersects the highway. We're right around the corner from there. I'm right across from, when you're pulling in, you're going to see an apartment complex. Just know you're in the right place, okay? Knowing those things so that you can reassure them. And what I tell them is when I get to the address, go ahead and write this down. So I pretty much always try to get them to write it down because like I said, getting them to write it, them getting a confirmation email and a text message, they're much less likely to bail. They're probably going to show up for their interview. If you built good rapport with them, you speak slowly and clearly, and they feel comfortable about where they're going. Again, just with that, slowly and clearly, especially when you are getting them to write down the address, I speak very slowly. So I'm like, all right, so our address is 707 Mindham Boulevard. And I'll spell Mindham for you. M-E-N. So Min, like man. Like really over communicate it. It makes it way clearer for them. Now with ours, it says, there's a big green glass building. I doubt you really can't miss it. Just kind of throwing a little joke in there, make sure that they're still engaged. And letting them know, like, hey, if you type that in your phone, it'll take you right to us. And can you repeat that back to me? So that way if they wrote anything down wrong, you guys are going to know. Now, do you need me to repeat anything to you, or do you feel comfortable getting here? Any kind of objection that they have about coming into the office, you want to go ahead and handle that here. So that's what you're doing, is just giving them that last little sense of comfort. And right after that, where it says, do you need me to repeat anything back to you? Do you feel comfortable getting here? I know I just gave them my office number, but in my script, I even say, hey, listen, and don't hesitate to call me, okay? This is my personal number if you do need anything at all. Again, my name's Morgan. I just want to make this as crystal clear and comfortable for you as possible. You're making them feel special. And then the very last paragraph where it says, okay, Josh, I have you set for today at 4:15 p.m. Right above that, I would write, really quick before I let you go, because you've just asked them You know, do you feel comfortable? Do you need anything repeated? A lot of times people are like, yeah, I'm good. All right, bye. And they're ready to hang up. Like, hey, really quick before I let you go, I actually want to give you some tips to prepare you for your interview. So that's what this last little paragraph is doing, is giving them tips to prepare them. So as far as everything in the last paragraph, it's pretty straightforward, except for the very last sentence. Obviously, that's only if everything goes well, but I'd recommend planning your schedule accordingly. And that's just a push away, letting them know that they do need to earn it. They don't have it in the bag. You know, the interview can take 60 to 90 minutes, but that's only if everything goes well. So, again, we aren't just giving this job to anybody. And then the last sentence, again, my name is Morgan. Good luck, Josh, and we look forward to seeing you at this time and this time. Just to reiterate one last time, because we want to be over-communicative and clear. Does anybody have any questions about that?
9 minutes is like the max, right? You say it goes well, 90 is like it. Awesome.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes it can take more than that, but it's just letting them know, like, hey, you're not coming in for 5 minutes. Our interviews can be a little bit lengthier. They can go about an hour and a half, depending on how big the interview is. In the summer, I ran some really long interviews. So it's just letting them know, like, hey, plan your schedule accordingly so that you're not expecting to get in here and walk out the door in 30 minutes.
Yeah, I was there for a solid 2 hours.
You're welcome. Hey, look where you are now.
Fair enough.
Caleb was nice to cook.
That's a first. Did anybody else have any questions? I know you guys are mostly like new to the script. Everybody else has seen it at least once before. All right, guys. Well, that's pretty much it. Just wanted to talk to you a little bit about, and what we're going to do is we'll go into a little bit more depth on exactly how the social media recruiting goes as we get into different TLA preps. We'll talk to you a little bit more about like how Instagram works, but just go ahead and get those thoughts in your head. You know, being prepared now, you're going to be way more prepared for when summer rolls around. I know that summer seems like it's a long time from now, but it's going to sneak up really quick. So thanks for having me.